It is a long-held myth that human trafficking exists only in faraway places in dark and dangerous corners of the world. But in fact, it often takes place in our very own backyards, on the playground, at the shopping mall, and increasingly in cyberspace. Sex trafficking remains the most common form of human trafficking worldwide, and in the United States alone, approximately 300,000 children are at risk of being prostituted every single day. And as full-frame contributor Sandra Hughes reports, identifying and helping victims of sex trafficking is one of the biggest challenges faced by law enforcement all across the United States.
Los Angeles police call it trolling the track, patrolling a swath of south central Los Angeles where prostitution is rampant.
We leave here, let's just go meet up at Southwest, and then we'll hit the tracks from there.
Lieutenant Andre Dawson and his team of specialized police officers are looking for underage girls and boys who've been forced into the sex trade.
I saw her, black.
And that's what we're looking at today. It's the pimping and pandering of children that we're looking at now as modern-day slavery.
If they aren't found on the streets, any number of websites offer up girls who are fresh or new in town, euphemisms for underage.
She charges $300 an hour.
While kids are transported across national borders and state lines, many underage sex workers are homegrown.
It's everybody's problem. It's not these, low-income minority kids or, these third world individuals being bussed in. These are our kids.
And some of these kids are not even teenagers yet.
What we are seeing, unfortunately, is the younger ages of children that are being sexually exploited. I think when I first started out, the average age was 13. Unfortunately, now the age is now dropped to 12.
Ruthless and demanding, human trafficking has become a lucrative priority for many organized gangs. Law enforcement statistics find that within 48 to 72 hours after running away from home, a girl or boy will come into contact with someone in the sex trade. Once the trafficker has hooked the kid, they don't run away because they fear for their lives.
They're forced to go out there and turn, 10, 15 tricks a day.
According to the U.S. Justice Department, human trafficking is the second largest criminal industry in the country, second only to the drug trade. And experts estimate 100,000 children per year are forced to have sex for money.
Put your hands behind your back.
Escape usually only comes after a police raid sends the underage prostitute to a residential treatment facility.
Their average stay is about 6 to 9 months. And the goal at that point is to obviously work on some of the traumatic experiences that they've had, be able to connect the logical to the emotional part of the brain so they can start making more logical decisions versus emotional decisions.
In Orange County, California, just outside Los Angeles, Crittenton House is serving about 60 girls and their children. Its location is hidden so the pimps can't find the girls. Recovering from a life of prostitution is a struggle for many victims.
So rebuilding her ego strength, rebuilding her sense of herself and her choices is an integral part about what we do in our residential treatment program. And so now we're seeing kids coming in not as criminals, but as victims.
Once called the victimless crime, underage prostitution is anything but.
How long have you been out here?
Young boys and girls forced into the sex trade have their childhood stolen.
The damage done to an 11, or 12, or 13-year-old girl developmentally, that sidetracks her normal social development, her development of her own sense of self and self-worth. It is so damaging at that young of an age. It's going to take a long time and a lot of treatment interventions.
Even the professionals at Crittenton admit they can't save every victim they encounter. Sometimes the streets have a much stronger hold than any hope recovery may offer. But giving survivors their freedom back is a battle worth fighting. For Full Frame, this is Sandra Hughes in Los Angeles.